In this day and age, the Father claims, I am your preservation. You will not be lessened or diminished in any way when you place your trust in me. I will preserve you. The adversary will not be able to take anything away from you because I have encircled you with angels who are engaged in battle to protect and defend you on every side. I have ensured that you are protected since I am your defense. For the time being, I am your ransom. Your supplications are heard, and the streams of my mercy flow anew and fresh each morning, ready to meet each and every one of your need. You are celebrating and resting in this moment. This is your time. Feel at ease in the revitalizing power of my spirit, secure in the knowledge that I am watching over all of the concerns of life. You are going to be blessed with my goodness today because I am a very large God. I am prepared to bestow blessings, and I have no qualms about forgiving. Since I listen to each and every one of your prayers, I will offer you an abundance of my loving kindness as your contribution. Whenever you find yourself in a difficult situation, you will call upon me, and I will rescue you by providing you with a positive response. As you worship at my altar, I will rescue you from the storm and place your feet on the rock of my faithfulness. I will lift you up. Despite the fact that those who are proud will rise up against you and those who are wicked will set traps for your feet, you will not be hampered because I will be at your side to bring you through on time and in one piece so that you can fulfill your destiny. Today, the Father says, I've got you covered on every front. Failure and immorality are no longer a mark on your character. This day, deliverance is bestowed upon you, and the heinous sins that you committed on the previous day are now as white as snow. I am your cleaning and your salvation, says the Father, and I will not allow sin to have power over you. Accept the mercy that I bestow upon you today as a result of my reign. You are forgiven, and certainly, you should forgive yourself. It is not in my best interest to observe you wallowing in self-recrimination and sorrow while you lay among the tombstones of your past. You are pardoned for your transgressions. Indeed, the past is the past. Let go of it. Continue on. Let this day be the day that God forgives you, for I have washed you, and as a result, you are clean. Do you feel resentment at yourself? You shouldn't be. However, sin is sin, and the human nature has a tendency to transgress at all times. Put your self-hatred to sleep. There is nothing that is divine about throwing yourself down or wallowing in shame and remorse or putting yourself down. Experience the revitalizing power of the breath of heaven as it descends upon you. Rejoicing should take the place of grief and shame in this situation. My mercy is a gift from heaven that is being bestowed upon your life right now. Accept it and accept it as such. With regard to your circumstances, mercy and truth are kissing each other today. As you emerge from the muck of failure and disobedience, your righteousness will accompany you into a new day that is brighter than the one you previously experienced. There are many sparrows, but the Father tells you today that you are of far higher worth than them. Nothing in your life happens without my knowledge, and I am aware of all that happens. I am always here and always working on your behalf to establish the promises of my word as your continuous experience and outcome. I am continually working on your behalf. Put your faith in my method. Focus on the goals I have set. The events that occur in your life are not a random collection of occurrences. In you, there is a significant presence. You are important, and your life is important. Get rid of the politics that are based on hopelessness and misery. This is a new day and a new season, and it is time for you to move in radical obedience to my word and the voice of my spirit that is tugging at your heart. According to the Father, you should find your position at my altar today. You should be aware that my courts are open to you in such a way that you may walk on the stones that make up the pavement of my throne room. It is appropriate that your worship be offered up as the nightly oblation, and that your praise be offered up as the morning sacrifice. As you make your way through the valley of Baca, keep in mind that I am your source of strength. Because I am your sun and protection, you will progress from one level of splendor to the next and from one level of power to the next. When you behave in a manner that is righteous before me, you will receive my grace and my glory in their entirety. According to what the Father has spoken to us today, I am pouring out the oil of anointed oneness and solidarity onto my people. Those individuals who have consistently worked hard and persevered will eventually put their disagreements aside and arrive at a new level of maturity. On this day, the oil that was poured down Aaron's beard, as well as down his clothing and onto his shoes, is being poured out over my people. You should declare to your brother and sister, I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. And say to your soul, I will be a partaker. There will be a powerful outpouring of my spirit, and it will begin with unity and manifest in force. The tribes are gathering, and the peoples are joining together for this. My people are being subjected to a recurrence of both the rain that came after and the rain that came before, says the Father. As a new great awakening surges across the globe in force and great glory, those who have distracted and misdirected my sons and daughters will be put in their place. This will be the case. You will be a first-fruits partaker of the outpouring that I am bringing upon the earth, even in these days, says the Father. You are an inheritor of that glory, and you will be a partaker of the first-fruits. I am not a distant God, proclaims the Father in this day and age. It is as if I am not observing as other people make decisions and treat one another in an abusive manner. My wind is blowing to remove the chaff and set ablaze the wood, hay, and stubble of man's thinking. Take refuge in me, for I am the wind that is blowing these things. Pay attention to what I have to say, says the Father, and do not go along with the inclination of the masses or the mistake of conventional wisdom. I have summoned you to walk on water when everyone else is content to merely stand on deck and make excuses and accusations. This very day, the Father informs you that the key to David is in your possession. Assume your rightful place and be aware that even on this very day, the lion and the bear will fall in love with each other. The Father says that you will take the head off of the giant who mocks you and waves his fist in your face as a trophy of my fidelity in front of the people. In addition to being your part, this is also the preamble, which is a suggestion of all the wonderful things that are in store for you in the future. It is being said by the Father that the baton is being passed on today. Those individuals who have completed their race and have dutifully obeyed my plan for their lives are anxiously awaiting the next step that you take. Because they are aware of how much I love you, and because they are aware that your race is being run at this time and in this moment for a reason that has not yet been fully understood, the great cloud of witnesses is looking over the railing of heaven and cheering you on with tremendous encouragement. Maintain a submissive relationship with your flesh, says the Father. Always remember that you should never let the natural man decide what you will do next. In no way are you constrained by the passage of time or by the randomness of your birth. The constraints that mankind have imposed on you, as well as the limitations that you have imposed on yourself, are being undone by me as I stride through eternity into the timeline of your life. Are you prepared to receive heaven through the open door and the outpouring of it? They are your portion, says the Father, and I will bring you to complete victory in a moment of time on the precise spot where the adversary predicted that you would lose. The Father has spoken to us today, saying, I am removing you from the wheel of the potter. You have been shaped and molded by me, and I have formed you. For the sake of bringing forth a vessel for my purpose, I have kneaded you in the same way that a potter kneads clay. The height, the depth, and the breadth of my love are all going to be bestowed upon you because I have selected you as an instrument of honor and I have elected you to receive it. You are not rejected or ignored in any manner, so take a big swig and take a deep breath of the goodness that I have bestowed upon you today. Our dearly loved one, Plan A, is still a viable option. Although the adversary has been dishonest and has attempted to mislead, this is no longer the case. Even though men have told you that you are broken goods and that you are unable to obtain what I have promised, they are not speaking in accordance with the inspiration of my Spirit. Always keep in mind that I am the God of the second chance, as well as the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on. I will not be constrained by the intolerance of man, thus, you will not be constrained in terms of coming to receive my mercy. Please forgive them. Have mercy on yourself. Now is the time to pick yourself up and continue on with a joyful hope, since my mercies will be ever new on the morrow, just as they will be on every day of your retreat. In this day and age, the Father says, take hold of my joyful heart. Have joy as your portion of life. Let the joyous occasion resound throughout your rafters. According to the Father, joy is a type of weapon of warfare that cannot be defeated. I want you to know that joy is the only container that you can offer up that is capable of carrying the entirety of my glory. Now, open your eyes and take in all that I have to offer. Be aware that I will be the one to turn the tide of circumstances that are stacked against you in a moment of time, and I will cause you to be the only one left standing when all of the forces of the enemy are retreating. A greater number of people are on your side than those who are opposed to you. It is time to walk forth into victory, therefore say to your eyes that they be opened and to your ears that they hear the marching of angels among the mulberries. The time has come when the walls of opposition will be brought down, and the spoil of the earth will be brought into your hands as a reward for my glory. Today, I want you to feel my strength rushing through you. Receive of my vitality and my dunamis power to bring about the miracle, and receive of the full measure of everything that I have promised you even on this very day, says the Father. This day, the Father has spoken to me, saying, I am working quickly in righteousness. The season is currently transitioning from a period of calamity and dismal results to one of renewed optimism and anticipation. I will lead you to a point where everything you say and every action you do will have the same impact as if I were the one saying and doing it. It is for this that the cross was sacrificed. Because of this, my side was pierced, and at the same time, blood and water began to come out. The curtain has been draped, and the path has been opened up. At this moment, the angels with the blazing swords are calling out to the contrite to enter into the entitlement of sons that were purchased for you on Calvary. No one is preventing you from accessing this privilege. When it comes to, as in heaven, so on earth, are you prepared? Have your mouth say a prayer. The act of decreeing something will cause it to emerge from the ground and become more tangible. I will allow the seeds of your obedience to bring harvest before they even hit the ground, so that you no longer need to resort to coping tactics. Declare the outcome with confidence and without ashamedness. You no longer need to wait for one day someday, because I am declaring to you that today is the day of your redemption, and that today is the day when manifest grace pours out in full measure to reshape the entire landscape of your life in accordance with my promise. You may believe that I write in stone, but the truth is that I no longer write in stone, rather, I write in sand. This is what the Father says to you now. Things change, people change, and my will for your life changes in accordance with the goal of bringing you from a state of destitution and a downward spiral to a life that is more plentiful in a short period of time. Prepare yourself for the word suddenly. Given the circumstances you find yourself in, are you ready for the explosion of my now? God expresses that His hand is moving. Put yourself in a position of humility before my hand as I place you in the cleft of the rock, and then proceed to show you all of my goodness in a single outpouring of favor. This theology of delay and unbelief should be rejected. I am not going to be hesitant about you. Loved one, I am not in love with a plan, rather, I am in love with you. You do not comprehend the reasons why things did not go according to your plans. On the contrary. In order to fulfill a plan, I did not send my son to die, rather, I sent him to die and then to be raised up on the third day for you. Get rid of the grave clothing that are associated with immorality and carnality. Put on the clothes that have been washed white in the blood of the Lamb and stand up. Take full advantage of your sonship and the privileges that come with Calvary. You are no longer going to wander around, and you are no longer going to wonder, because you will now see the suffering of your soul and you will be content. Today, the Father states that it is my goodness that causes people to turn away from their sins. When you come to me in a state of weakness and get grace to stand and grace to continue beyond the point where your own limited patience can take you, my strength will have succeeded in accomplishing its perfect purpose. The Father says that the husbandman is patiently waiting for the wonderful fruit to come along. Your anticipation has not been about the passage of time, rather, it has been about the completeness of my Kairos timing, which alters the circumstance and takes you to the fulfillment of your deepest heart's desire and your biggest dream as if it were a fleeting moment. As the Father says, I am aware of the cries that come from your heart, and I have listened to your petition. In my word, I have promised you something, and there is no need to emphasize or add anything to my promise. As I swore to by my own name, I shall carry out my oath, because I could not find something more suitable. If you walk before me, you will be perfect. In your life, I am working to will and to do my good pleasure, therefore go before me and be expectant, because I am working in whatever you do. You are the one I am working with to bring the initiatives of heaven to full manifestation, and that right quickly, says the Father. I am not looking for another person or another moment, because you are the one I am working with. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, the eater is the source of flesh, and the strong is the source of sweetness. I have broken the lion into pieces like a child, and from the carcass of the enemy's defeat, I will pour the milk and honey of my favor over you on this day. You are about to enter a season that is favorable for you, says the Father. You are invited to come and take part in the treasures that have been there for many centuries, and the ancient doors are standing open for you to enter. This time of year is a time of transition, says the Father. At this point in time, the plowshares transform into pruning hooks, which are used to bring the low-hanging fruit of my goodness into your life. Let go of the past and the failed strategies of natural reasoning and vain striving, you should say to your soul. The work that I am calling you to is the work that is eventually going to be at rest. It is the yoke that is easy and the burden that is light that I give to you as the burden that I place on your shoulders. Put aside the erroneous burdens of worry and concern. The revelation of my love, which creates soundness of mind and the activation of my power in your life, has not given you a spirit of fear. Rather, I have given you the confidence to face whatever challenges life throws at you. Today is your day, and this is the season that you are in. Reject the misleading and defeatist ideology that has been promoted. When you gaze intently at the brilliance that emanates from my throne, you will undergo a transformation, and your circumstances will inevitably conform to the pattern of, as in heaven, so on earth. Today, the Father says, the initiatives of heaven will manifest in your life not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. This is the message that the Father is giving to you. What the Father has to say is that neither the arm of flesh nor the counsel of worldly beings can reveal any secrets to you. Hear the sound of my voice. Listen with your ears to the still, little voice that whispers to you like the bubbling of a spring deep inside your being. Focus your attention on this sound. I have created rivers within you that will flow outward and encompass all of the territory that your life represents. I have set rivers on your interior. The Father declares, I will pour forth, and you will be able to gather an abundant harvest of favor, benefit, and blessing. This is the day, says the Father, that I will come to see you and leave behind me a complete measure of all the things that you have pleaded with me to provide for you. Both denial and delay are no longer acceptable. I am going to stuff your mouth if you leave it open wide. The measure that you bring up to me like a little child to receive of my generosity and my kindness that overshadows you like a cloud in the desert is your expectation and the breadth of your hope. Let this be the measure that you use. The Father has been saying that the rain is on its way. This is where the overflowing is. Prepare yourself to dance in the rain and to take part in the fullness that I have promised you and that I can unequivocally guarantee is emerging in your life like a root from a dry ground. The Father affirms to us today that whatever you accomplish for other people, I will accomplish for you as well. Put the needs of others first today. You should not be preoccupied with your personal requirements, but rather with making a positive influence in the lives of people around you in ways that can be readily measured. It is important to keep in mind that I turned Job's captivity around when he prayed for his companions, despite the fact that they were not very close friends to him at the time. Protect those who are less fortunate. The fatherless should be encouraged. It is imperative that individuals who are unable to defend themselves have their lives improved to the greatest extent feasible. In your life, I am this person. Thus, I encourage you to go out into the world and be that very blessing for other people. It is important to keep in mind that my kingdom follows motion. You are the one who brings my power into your life by the actions that you take. Many people have the misconception that they are powerful in my kingdom, but in reality, they are nothing more than a minuscule blip on the radar of the adversary. In the moment that you demonstrate my loving compassion to other people, you will be a formidable opponent to everything that the adversary has accomplished. Some individuals believe that they are powerful in my kingdom because of the dark sayings and prayers that they offer. The opposite of the truth is not even remotely possible. They are wizards who murmur and peak, but they bring no meaning to their actions. You will be able to dispel darkness and ensure your own victory when you become a channel of my love and grace to others in meaningful ways. This is because by your compassion, you are making a difference in the world for the sake of me. As of today, the Father has spoken to you that the trumpet is being blown over your life. For the sake of reorganizing your circumstances and re-establishing my blessing, the initiatives of heaven are currently flowing out from my throne. Right now, you are emerging from the abyss, as well as from the confines of the prison house of deception and deception. From this day forward, I lift the burden of circumstance and the burden of disappointment off of your shoulders. According to the Father, I am not the God of dissatisfaction, rather, I am the God who fulfills the deepest desires of the heart and the most ambitious dreams. You will no longer be required to work at the mill that grinds men's expectations. Rather, you will emerge from the home of bondage and ride prosperously in the highest places on earth. The time has come for you to leave Egypt, because the Father has spoken to you. No more bricks without straw, in any case. There will be no more cruel mistreatment at the hands of the adversary, and there will be no escape or remedy. At this very moment, I am the means by which you can escape. I am a high tower, and all those who rush into my name will be secure from every incursion of the adversary against their life, says the Father. Therefore, make your escape to me, for I am the tower. In the same way, your adversaries will be defeated, and the adversary will be driven away. Your hunger is visible to me, and I am aware of your cries, my dear. Today, I will provide you with the highest quality wheat, and I will satiate your thirst with honey that comes from the rock that is located in the desert. I am not a distant God, proclaims the Father in this day and age. It is not the case that I am ignoring you or putting you behind in any way. In addition to not being furious with you, I am not rejecting you either. Always make sure that such ideas are not allowed to enter your mind. Recall the work that Calvary did whenever you have the impression that I am separated from you in some way. When other people criticize you and speak negatively about you, keep in mind that the most valuable gift that heaven has to offer is yours. Knowing that I will always cause my face to shine upon you and save you from every advance of the enemy against your life is something you should keep in mind whenever you are feeling confused and darkness is making its way closer to you. People who make the assertion that I am not with you are not taking into consideration the cross. I was the target of the punches that were aimed at your back 2,000 years ago. My head was pushed down by the scourge, and it paid the price for every failure, fault, and sin that I committed. You have been set free. I am grateful for your forgiveness. Gather yourself together, brush yourself off, and continue walking in me. These preparations have been made. The provision is free to be utilized. As you move forward in repentance, humility, and hope for a better day, you will not falter or fail. You will succeed. The time has come. It is beginning to dawn in your life right now, because it is your portion, your inheritance, and the source of your righteousness, which is me. Keeping the inheritance of my indwelling spirit within you safe is what the Father instructs you to do today. Under no circumstances should you permit external influences to have such a significant impact on you that your serenity in Christ is overshadowed by reactionary responses to those who are uninformed. If you were to give your flesh to the birds of heaven or the creatures of the field, what would be the difference? Satan is the one who consumes dust. He desires to feast on your unrestrained behavior that is based on your flesh. By refusing to give up your tranquility or your joy in the face of opposition, you can starve him out of your life. The enemy is victorious if joy is lifted. When peace is lost, the adversary is filled with joy. Always keep in mind that my kingdom is made up of righteousness, joy, and peace. My peace will serve as an umpire to settle with complete and utter finality what your answer will be to your circumstance, regardless of what is happening on around you. Allow my peace to guide you. As you make the decision to resist from giving expression to your lower nature, my glory comes online to protect, defend, and rescue you from any and all difficulties. Always keep in mind that I am your God. Never let go of the loving kindness that I possess. I hear your sighing and your crying, and I will bring my power online in the situation to deliver you totally. You are the sheep of my pasture, and I will be ever vigilant to keep you safe and secure from any external harm. I will bring my power online in the situation. In today's message, the Father tells you that you are emerging from the fire. There is not even the least hint of smoke that will be able to permeate the clothing of your spirit, despite the heat and pressure that is surrounding you. My developing plan in your life will only be promoted and refined as a result of the confusion and commotion that is occurring around you. There is a new area of liberation that I am leading you to. Embrace the idea of escaping from your confinement, darling. The chains that were shackled to your wrists and feet have been removed, allowing you to proceed with the calling that has been placed upon your life. Would you not be strengthened for the voyage if I were to call out to you? Is it possible that I will call and not provide the way to be fulfilled? It is time to act now. Both the right hand and the left hand should not be looked at. If the Father is speaking to you, what are you waiting for? They are not going to be able to comprehend it. Why are you trying to get other people's approval for something that I have spoken with you in such an open and honest manner? Emancipate yourself from the confines of the area. Put away the burial clothing that have only served to bind you thanks to the carnality of the decisions you have made. From this day forward, I release you to accept and take possession of your inheritance. The ties that bind you to the past have been severed, and a new community is eagerly awaiting your incorporation into their ranks. They are going to march, and they are going to proceed forward, taking care not to spear one another or tread upon one another, but rather accelerating and assisting one another in their pursuit of the final consummation of the conquest that is currently taking place. The Father encourages you to relax your heart and let go of the past so that you can go forward into the new day that is now beginning to dawn in your life. In today's message, the Father assures us that you are not excluded from my advisories. I will make open and understandable to you, with great clarity, my plans, my objectives, and my endeavors in the land, what men do not understand and what the children of men miss. I will make it clear to you what I intend to carry out. Heaven's boardrooms are the places where choices are being made and businesses are being started that will have an effect on your life. Is it possible for me to conceal the item that I plan to do that is of concern to you? No, I will not do it. As far as I am concerned, it is not my plan, and that is not how I handle things. I will communicate to you in a language that is incomprehensible to the normal man, but easily understood and read by the man of the Spirit. I will speak to you in a language that is based on the language of heaven. According to God, the historic landmark will not be eliminated. I am bridging the generations and establishing new truths and verities that my people formerly embraced but are now far from their minds. I am doing this by bridging the gap between the generations. You should tell your mind to be eager to study, since if it is necessary, I would do what I would do by design instead of doing it by choice. In the event that a new way of thinking and doing is adopted, the shock waves of change are on their way to the earth, and whatever it is that men have thrown their nets to receive will be able to escape them. To the contrary, you should put your trust in me, says the Lord. Please do not forget all of the words that I have declared in the past, including those that have surfaced in recent times past and are on the verge of being forgotten. I am the Lord who rules over the land, and there is a spot here beside me where you can sit and study, not only about the things that I do, but also about the ways that I do things, my beloved. This day, the Father instructs us to keep in mind my promises. I am well aware that difficulties and worries will knock on your door at some point. I am with you. Talk to me about it. You should put your faith in me to defend you. Despite the fact that you are aware that nothing in your life is going on that I am not aware of, you should still call upon me. In spite of the fact that you desire me to work on your behalf, it is absolutely necessary that I summon you to the spot where you can pray as part of the process. If you call out to me with faith, I will move heaven and earth to answer your prayer. Through prayer, you are able to release and activate the kind of faith that can move mountains. When you do not pray with your tongue, you are giving up the very mercies that you are questioning the absence of in your life. Always keep in mind the songs that I perform during the night. While you are lying in bed, communicate with your own heart, and know that I will be there to meet you at every step of the route. You are not abandoned in vain. Although I am not ignoring you, I am also not rewriting my principles in order to suit demands that are not in accordance with what I have already said. Aim to be interruptible. Keep an open mind. You must be willing to yield to the pull of my Holy Spirit, which is urging you to ascend to a higher level. In the midst of your difficulties, call upon me. Pray with your mouth alone. Let your requests be heard in my ears so that my sanctuaries will be open to you, and the answers you seek will fly on wings of angels to address every cause of anxiety, care, and worry that bothers you so. The Father has shown to us today that although I am not always fair, I am always just. In the imagination of man is where the concept of fairness first makes its appearance. Despite the fact that the flesh desires what it desires, the justice that I bring into your life is not limited by earthly considerations. I know the end from the beginning, says the Father. Therefore, have faith that what I am bringing about on your behalf is nothing less than life and life in greater abundance, despite the fact that the flesh may not agree and may register its complaint in a long and loud manner. Because I am not a man, I should not lie, and because I am a son of man, I should not repent. I will never allow the stiff neck and the proud expression to stroll through my courts. As you go low and remain in a place of worship, know that the inner councils of my throne will always have a place for you. This is something you should keep in mind. Your share of the promotion is yours. Neither the east nor the west is the source of it, rather, it originates from my royal hand. If you make a commitment to the outcome that I am bringing about today, you will never be let down by the results.